I'm in LA doing some press. LA fucking sucks.
LA
Are we
fucking,
recording?
yeah, we're recording. Let's just start with that. LA does suck. I agree 100%. I'm wearing an
Yeah.
LA hat right now like a fucking moron.
Yeah, I'm out here doing press. Let's just start it. Yeah, I'm in LA doing press. I'm doing Adam Carolla, which I dig him, but I mean,
Me
you got to
too.
come all the way. You got to come all the way out here to fucking promote my album. I just want to get to the. I want to get to the point where I'm big enough. I don't. Nothing against you, Chris. Right?
Colin, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Colin. I'm gonna call you Colin.
That's fine.
Can I call you Chris?
You can call me Chris. Let's do that.
Okay, let's call. I'm gonna call you Chris. I dig talking to dudes like you just on Zoom, but
Yeah.
fucking coming out, flying across the country to meet people. I want to get to Taylor Swift level where I don't have to go anywhere.
You don't have to fucking do anything at that point.
Yeah, I just don't. Nothing against these people. Like I said, I dig Colin / Chris. I dig
Yeah.
Corolla, but it's just I'm sick of the music. Should speak for itself. I'm sick of having to promote my.
I get that too. And I actually hate having to do this for you. You know what I mean? Like I hate having to have you sit here.
Well, I
and
don't
talk
want you
about
to hate
bullshit.
it.
No,
You're supposed to look it. You're supposed to look it up, man.
Buddy, listen to me. When Jennifer, your agent over here, emailed me with this offer, the exact response back was, "I've been waiting for this email for 3 fucking years. This is one that I've wanted."
Well, I love you, Chris. I mean, Colin.
I love you too.
If you've been a fan for a long time, I'm a fan of yours.
I'm the lead singer in a band called Foxtrot and the Get Down. It's a band out of Philly. Toured the whole country, all this shit. And I will never forget the first time I found you. We were going from Knoxville to Nashville. And I think my other guitar player brought up your first record and he put on Eatin' Pussy Kicking Ass. And since that day, I've been an obsessive fan. I fucking love you. And not to get weird to start the fucking interview, but
hold on. Can you say Eating Pussy Kicking Ass with your, what's that accent?
Philly.
Say it again. Say the title again.
Eating Pussy Kicking Ass.
Yeah, I don't know what's that? Ass?
Ass. Anything with an A or an O is really tough for people in
I love
Philadelphia.
hearing say ass one more time.
Ass.
I love it. That's cool, man. Well, I appreciate the fandom. I'll check out your band. What are they called?
Foxtrot and the Get Down is the name of the band.
What kind of music?
It's like a bluesy alternative rock. It's a big 7-piece band, horns, 2 singers.
I'll check it out, man. You're on all those streaming places?
All the streaming shit. And then now we fucking, because of COVID, we had nothing to do. So we started a podcast. Now we're working with Barstool, talking to fucking you. We just had Shaquille O'Neal over the weekend. And then we just had
Shaq?
We had Shaq. We played basketball against Shaq. And then we fucking had Corey Taylor.
Yeah, Shaq's doing music, I heard.
It's dubstep.
Is it? I mean, I can't imagine it's good, but I love Shaq.
He's a cool dude. I'll give him that. I don't know what I listened to, but it was something.
Yeah, I'm from Kentucky, so I used to watch Shaq kick our fucking ass, and when he was over at LSU.
There you go, dude. Can I ask you a question just to start?
Sure.
So you come in, you fucking do country, you become the Pussy King, you fucking dominate, you work with Dave Cobb, and then you want to do rock now. You realize you're just trading in one fucking genre full of vapid morons for another one. You know that, right?
Well, I didn't put it in those terms, but I grew up. See, you're from Philly, but you live in Philly. You're from there, yeah. So where I grew up, country was everywhere. I grew up in Kentucky, where country was what you rebelled against your parents by listening to rock and roll. So I listened to rock more than country, but I knew all the country because that's what everybody listened to. So when I got a little bit older, I started playing country just because what I knew. And then this last album, I said to Cobb, I go, what if we just go back to, because Cobb, the reason I get along with Cobb so well is our backgrounds are almost identical. He had the same kind of background growing up in small town Georgia as I did in Kentucky, which was everyone's listening to country. We're going to listen to fucking Danzig. We're going to listen to fucking Motley Crue. We're going to listen to Guns N' Roses to piss off all those people. Then we got older. And again, this happened. We didn't know each other at the time. It was like all that country that we rebelled against. It's fucking great, And then we started getting into country. And I called up Cobb for this last time. I go, all that rock we grew up with? Let's just fucking do that, man. I go, I own my own label. I don't really do much press. This is an exception. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And if fans don't dig it, first of all, I think they will, but I don't. Here, let me make something clear. And now I'm interviewing myself, and I'm sorry for this, Colin. But I want the fans to like it, but I don't do it for the fans. I do it for myself.
Right.
So I hope they dig it, and they have seemed like they dig it so far. But and I go, wouldn't it feel like something new if we just took all the same players, all these guys that play on my albums, they're the same way. They grew up on rock, listen to country. All my friends who play country, they listen to Metallica as much as they listen to Waylon. It's all the same shit. So I go, let's just make a fucking rock record. I mean, it's going to be Southern rock because we're in the South and I have an accent. You know, I grew up in Kentucky, but to me, I just wanted to make like a ZZ Top Motley Crue record.
Which I think you nailed, because the first single, that's exactly what I got. But it just, to me, was
thanks,
like,
man.
To me, it was like thinking back to like everything I've seen of you. It's kind of like, all right, this is the country fucking machine that we all know. Let's rebel against it. But like that rock machine, especially today, and I'm not talking about the stuff that you grew up on, the stuff I fucking grew up on, the same shit. Like what it is today. Like, you think it's just an industry-wide thing that everything's kind of a shit show right now? Or
well, it's weird because I got a lot of press when I started out unintentionally ripping on how shitty country music had gotten. I don't know that I've researched how shitty rock has gotten. I just don't really know because I haven't listened to a new rock record in God knows how many years. So my guess is it's just as shitty.
A lot of the good rock music right now is coming out of like Ireland and England. Like bands like Fontaine's DC and Idols and bands like that are fucking awesome. But out of America,
I may have to get a list from you because I don't know the new rock. That's kind of why I think people dig my music, is because I'm not like, I don't purposely keep new influences out of my music. I just literally don't know them. Same thing with everyone was like, you play old school country. I'm like, I don't know the new country. I make fun of it, but I don't make fun of it because I analyzed it and listened to it. I don't know it. I don't listen to it. I make fun of, the whole point was I made fun of Florida Georgia Line. I still to this day never heard a Florida Georgia Line song. I just want to know I'm confident in the fact that they suck, but I'm not gonna spend my time you only got so many minutes to live. I can't spend my time listening to Florida Georgia Line or Greta Van Fleet.
And I don't blame you. I wish that I could live in that universe where I didn't have to know. You know, ambivalence is fucking gold. You don't have to know about this shit. You can just continue to do what you're doing and fucking
that's
make
the cool thing. That's the cool thing about, you know, as shitty as music is today, one of the cool things on making music today is you can put it out yourself, not have a label and not have to look at the charts. The charts don't mean fucking shit anyway.
Nothing.
So I don't have to know. I don't look at Greta Van Fleet as my competition. I'm doing my own thing. My fans aren't going to skip Greta Van Fleet to skip me to see Greta Van Fleet. They like me, you know, they dig me, what I'm doing. We're not in the same category. So I don't have to study. I think like in the early days, you know, you're in the Beatles or the Stones, you got to study the other bands and know what they're doing. And you got to know that, like, you know, this band's having a single out this day, I got to watch out for them. Or, you know, this band went psychedelic, I got to keep up with that. Nowadays, everyone's just doing their own fucking thing.
Yeah, nothing really matters anymore, to be completely honest. And I don't think anybody above us really knows what's going on anyway. It's another thing on the podcast we talk about a lot. It's like, even when you talk to these labels, I don't feel like anybody really has a great grasp on what's going on. They're just throwing as much shit out there and seeing what sticks.
I would say that is the most true statement I've ever heard. Because I actually so I don't hire these big marketing companies, label shit, all that stuff. But I meet these guys, and I asked this one dude, I go, so how do you have a hit nowadays? How do you have a hit album? Because do we even know what a hit album is?
Right.
He goes, it's all about TikTok. And I go, so if it's all about TikTok and the labels all trying to get on TikTok, what makes a TikTok hit? He's like, it's just fucking luck of the draw.
Yeah.
You know, it's all a shit show. We take every band, we throw out 8 million TikTok clips, throw them against the wall. I got people I actually deleted TikTok from my phone. I make videos sometimes, but I'll have my people chop it up into TikTok side. Right. I actually deleted all social media from my phone. So to make myself sane, I have my manager. My manager earns his money by uploading on my social media. That makes it worth my time, my money, and my time is. I don't know what's even like my wife. She really likes Lana Del Rey, who I don't hate.
Yeah.
And my wife texted me. She's like, "Yo, Lana Del Rey played in Nashville the other night. We missed it." I don't have social media. I don't know. You know, I don't know who's going to pop up at what club at what night. I don't know if Taylor Swift was in town. The only reason I know is because traffic's bad. I'm not in that world. I don't want to be in that world.
Neither do I. And the fucked up part is I literally am backing myself into a corner where that's what I have to do. And
I'm like, and back to you, Colin. I'm hearing you don't want to be in that world. You're interviewing the world.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, to me, honestly, when fucking COVID happened and we couldn't tour anymore, we started the podcast.
Colin,
Chris, whatever. I don't give a fuck, man.
No, Colin, talk to me. You're a little upset. I want to hear about it. I want to talk to you seriously.
Let me preach.
Okay,
brother.
preach.
When COVID happened and like as that happened, the TikTok thing happened, and like I guess for a band where we were, like we thought alternative radio was the way to go, and then we thought fucking Instagram was the way to go, and then Spotify playlists were the way to go, and then it became TikTok, and I finally was like, fuck this shit, dude. I don't care. I really don't care. So I think the podcast was my opportunity to just talk shit and hope into that ether. I would get to avoid TikTok and things like that. Like my answer to putting out content was to be able to just talk shit about the music industry once a week and see what happened. Turns out that was the right call.
Well, that I would say that was the perfect call, which is that's the only way to make it. Make your own fucking content. Make your own. You don't radio won't play you. Now you got a podcast. You got your own radio station.
Yeah, it's like literally like most of the best things that have happened to us as a band or just within this whole fucking thing have come from literally talking shit. And I mean, I've gotten some residual flack for it from people like Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins.
What he say?
We had like the Black Keys on, and we had we had a couple bands on in a row where Billy Corgan came up as a talking point where it was just random. We didn't like ask Billy Corgan questions. They were just like, he's an asshole, Billy Corgan. And I was like, oh shit, really? So I started taking pictures of his face and just zooming up really, really.
Hold on,
really
those dudes said he was an asshole?
Yeah. You're not with Billy Corgan right now, are you?
He just left.
Yeah. But I started zooming up on his face really close, just like this close to his face, and every day posting him on Instagram and trying to get him to come on the podcast until one of his people finally reached out and was like, please stop. Billy doesn't want this, which I think is fucking awesome. My new one is Jared Leto. That's the one I want to get. I want Jared Leto. So I've just been posting pictures of him looking like a vampire.
There's the new John Lennon, right? the man who's going to save rock and roll.
Well, there you go. There's your competition, bro. You got 30 seconds to Mars.
You know what? If Jared Leto's my competition, I'm out. I don't even want to. I'm not competing. But that's the thing too, is I do think that this streaming shit has changed all that. It's not competition anymore. The fucking charts. It's you get paid off of your own streams and your own concerts. I don't lose money if Jared Leto sells more than me. Right. It's just I don't even look at him as competition. He's just some shitty dude getting in the way.
The industry doesn't really exist in the same capacity it used to anymore. It really doesn't. They're like, that's what I'm saying. The further and further I get into the machine and I look and I'm like, damn, nobody knows what the fuck is going on at all. It's crazy.
No, I mean, I don't think they've ever been more fucking, and I'm here in LA and where I look, there's fucking people with picket signs. There are people here. They don't even, I think all entertainment doesn't know what the fuck is going on. The music industry has never been more lost. I come to LA to do some press. Everywhere I see is just actors and writers like holding up picket signs because no one knows what the fuck to do.
You know what's funny, man? The LA thing and the New York thing have never done anything for me. It's why I still live in Philly, and it's why I still fucking sound like this. Because it just like even Nashville. I spent a lot of time in Nashville. A lot. I right down there.
Well, I'm trying to get out. My wife and I are trying to get out now,
dude.
It's turning into LA.
It is. It's a 100, dude. I started going there in like 2015, and I was like 22, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I started wearing this big stupid fucking fedora hats. You know what I'm talking about? The ones you go to Midtown, and everybody's wearing. And I would come.
Oh man, I would have hated you, man.
Dude, I thought I was like, oh, I'm in the scene now. I get it, right? And I would come home, and I'd be at the bar, and my boys would be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And so we burnt the hat for one of our album covers. We burnt the hat. Like I literally threw it in a fucking pit of fire and I burned it. Because
I mean, were you trying to do country or are you just wearing the shit?
Dude, I don't know. I thought I was Jason Isbell. I really did. I was like, oh no, I'm like Americana. Like I'm working class.
I don't think he even wears a fedora.
I know. I realize that now. He doesn't at all. And I love Isbell. I won't talk shit on Isbell. I love Isbell. But like that was Gary Clark Jr. I was like, oh dude, I am like the future of Americana. And then I would come home and my wife would be like, dude, you have to stop wearing that hat. Like people are going to
Colin, get your shit together.
Then literally, and then it snapped to me one day and I was like, oh, I'm a douchebag. So now I'm back to doing what I do. And makes me happy to know.
Can I thank you? If more douchebags would admit they're fucking douchebags, the world would be a better place.
I agree, and we probably wouldn't have as much shitty music in that capacity. But sadly, seems like the douchebag thing is kind of like ramping up a little bit, or is it? I don't know. Is it breaking? I don't know.
Man, I wish douchebags would go away, but I think they're here to stay, man.
Yeah, sadly enough. But like when I look at you, right? Like I look at you, and don't take this in a weird way, but like almost as a fucking like a goal in the entertainment industry to give as little fucks as humanly possible and make whatever the fuck you want to make and say whatever you want to say, and then thrive off of it. I don't know. Like that's always been my thing. The first time I heard the first record,
I really appreciate that, man, because I think the difference between me and some of these, I just have different goals than other people. My goal has always been to make enough money from each album to make another album, and that's all I was trying to do.
It's all anybody should try and do.
And then they're like, I had people in my ear like, if you make a rock record, all your country fans are going to stop listening. And I go, well, what if they do? I don't give a fuck. Like, all I got to do is make enough to make. I don't make expensive records. I don't have billboards. I don't have fucking a team of people. I ain't got a posse. I don't got to make that much, so the stakes aren't that high.
Right. It's also like I feel like people get lost in the sauce where they're like, I want to be this fucking whatever. Like I want to be the number whatever. I think everybody's goal should just be to be able to like live and do this. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be like everybody thinks you want to be like the biggest fucking thing ever. What if some of us just want to live normal lives but also do this as a career? Isn't that possible? You know what I mean? Like isn't that part of a goal?
That's kind of what whenever I get, and there don't get me wrong, Colin. There's times where I get a little bit, wacky and like, get mad that so and so single ain't doing well or something.
Sure.
I'll go, what would 14-year-old me do?
Right.
He'd fucking punch that dude because he's making a living making music. So shut the fuck up. And that's all I'm ever trying to do. If I can pay my bills and I can sell enough tickets to pay the bills and to pay, honestly, nowadays, pay for the bus, pay for the food, pay for the band, come home, pay for a record. That's all I'm trying to do. And if I'm not challenging myself, I'm not trying to do something new. This was the first time I went to the studio. I was like, if I do another album that sounds anything like my other ones, I don't want to do it anymore. I've done it.
Right. How many times can you make Summers in Kentucky?
I felt like, well, I wish I could do it 100 times. Right? I do love that song. But I'm saying, if I could, I didn't do this because if I was going to make another album that sounded like the last few, why am I doing it? Because I didn't get all this freedom to just keep doing the same thing over and over. I'm my own boss. Everyone, even the people I work with, were just like, some of the people wanted to hear the songs before I went to the studio. I'm like, if I want to do that, I'd have a label,
Right.
No offense, but I just make the record, then here it is.
Do you ever get tired of doing press? Like legitimately, like, do you ever get tired of like, because I wanted this to be a little bit fucking different. Like, I feel like you can do your style of interview over and over again. You can go do fucking radio. You can do a million podcasts, but like, do you ever get tired of having to fucking answer like the same kind of questions?
Oh yeah. I fucking hate it's the last album especially was the one where I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to do it anymore because First of all, I wish more people were like, it's fucking 2023. Like, can we just do it all on fucking Zoom now? I don't want to have to go to, LA. Now that people are in Austin, I'm like, seriously, is it going to be that much better if I'm there?
Right.
And like, I don't want to, like you said, the same fucking questions. A lot of the time you got to sit there, people don't on some of these places, they're just trying to fill time. And I get it that they're trying to make content, but I don't want to talk about news events of the day. I don't give a fuck.
But also, I feel like when I watch interviews with you, they're trying to, because everybody's looking for viral clips, right? Everybody's like, well, say something more about Florida Georgia line. It's like, all right, we get it. Like, fucking stop asking the same goddamn questions.
But that's kind of where I see where you're going, which is like, the more you egg me on to talk shit about Florida Georgia line, you're gonna egg me into saying I fucking love them and they're the best band of all. They're the best thing since Aerosmith.
Dude, you're literally one of us, because this happens to us all the time. Because I spent like 6 months talking shit about DJ Khaled, and then when people started asking me about DJ Khaled, I was like, dude, he might be the funniest motherfucker to ever live. Like, as soon as someone realizes I don't like something, I want to flip it on its head and be like, no, I fucking love him. He's the best.
Yeah. And that's kind of that's where I am. Is like that's where I feel like music has real and rock and roll and country. I grew up listening to the rebels of Waylon, Willie,
right,
GNR, uh, the Clash, fuck the man music.
right.
And now it feels like kind of people are into the man.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I want everything's fuck the man. I don't like the press. I don't consider you. That's why I kind of dig podcasts. I don't consider you the press.
Definitely not the press.
You're just a dude with a microphone.
100%.
And you play music, so you actually have somewhat of a fucking idea of what it takes to do this. So
well, that's why we like doing this, because we had Nickelback on this show, and
Jesus Christ,
it was the fucking best interview of all time. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, they're the fucking shit. Like, you get musicians on a level where they're talking to other musicians and they don't feel like they have to answer weird questions.
Hold on. Why was it so good?
Are you being like, I'm not
ironic or
no?
Yeah, they were cool dudes.
Dude, I mean, like, fucking, we had Ice Cube on here and he was fucking the coolest dude. If you get musicians on their base level and it's not like feeling like they're talking to somebody with fucking fake teeth and like fucking spray tan and like they're answering weird questions, you can get fucking anybody and they wind up being cool. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, the worst interviews though are when we go to people and we're talking and they think they're still doing radio and they're giving the same kind of answers, and it's like, we'll get you to open up a little bit and be fucking weird. That's what I like.
Yeah, I mean, I think you being a musician is probably what helps it. Is like, because all my interviews are, I don't need to be interviewed about music by a guy who, first of all, don't know shit about music, doesn't know what it's like to sleep in a fucking van, show up at a fucking dirty club,
yep,
and have to yell at the club owner to get his fucking money. What the fuck am I talking? You used to have to be an expert,
Yeah, don't try and ever ask me questions when you haven't slept in a garage out back of a venue because you didn't want to pay for a hotel. Lexington, Kentucky, the Burl, slept in the garage behind the fucking venue.
Oh man, you should have stayed at my parents.
Are you from Lexington?
Yeah,
dude, fucking great town. I actually love Lexington.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
Kentucky in general has been good to me. I like Kentucky a lot.
Yeah, Kentucky's cool.
Well, can I ask you?
Hold on. I think am I playing Philly on this tour?
You are playing Philly on this tour.
You want to come to the show?
Are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely. You're playing Brooklyn Bowl.
Is that cool?
I sold it out recently. It's a fucking great venue, dude.
You sold it out?
You bet your ass I did.
So you guys are pretty big.
I'm doing all right, dude. I don't know. Well, it's funny because we were just talking about this the other day. People were asking us why we're not playing more shows. And I was saying, like, dude, mid-sized touring still doesn't fully fucking exist at this point. Like, if you're not like a name that was popping prior to the pandemic, or you're not really hot on TikTok, it ain't worth the time to get out there and try and cut it on the road.
Well, can I tell you something else, which is I'm kind of at your level, maybe
you're big,
maybe a bit above you, because I have to have I'm big enough that I need a tour bus.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know there's like a tour bus crisis right now. There aren't, after COVID, there ain't enough tour buses.
Taylor Swift has them all.
Well, she's got quite a few of them, but I don't know if you know this, but the audience certainly doesn't, is during COVID, the tour bus companies, almost went under, so they had to sell all their fleets. And so there ain't no tour. People, if you want to tour next year, and I'm not making this up, you want to tour next year, you have to rent a tour bus for a year.
Jesus.
Which means, I don't know, I think it's $750 a day. So you have to rent it for the year, and then it's your job to sublease it out to other people.
What?
So they're talking to me about, like, do I want to tour next year? I'm like, fuck no. I don't want that. Basically what they're asking me is, do I want to get in the tour bus business?
Yeah, what the fuck? So you want me to sublease my own fucking tour bus that I would need for like 2 months?
And we barely got this tour bus. We had to get the last second. We found a dude a musician who wasn't touring, and it's like, yeah, I'll rent you my bus. There's no tour bus companies. If your bus breaks down, what it used to be was, when I first started, was your tour bus breaks down, the tour bus company comes, shows up, and they bring you a new bus. They take that one back and fix it. Your tour bus breaks down, you're stuck, because they ain't got no backups.
Jesus Christ. You know what? Another thing about this podcast, people people don't realize how fucked up the music industry got from COVID. Like, just like, it was funny. It just felt like everybody was like, all right, losers, go get real jobs now. Good luck. Like,
well, the other thing too was, so I a lot of musicians I played with during COVID, they just quit.
Yeah, a lot of them. Most of my friends.
Yeah. And I knew some dudes who, and a lot of the Nashville musicians were just like, they started, I don't even know what this word means, but I know a couple of them started getting into coding. What is coding?
Coding is like creating websites and shit like that. My drummer did
Yeah.
that.
So, yeah. So a lot of these musicians, I call them up, you want to put, I'm going out on tour. They're like, he goes, I do coding. And I'm like, the fuck you sit? He's like, yeah, I sit at home and I make more money than I do fucking playing for your ugly ass. And I'm not going to go sleep on a bus, but I can sleep in my bed, code. And like, so back to what we're saying, inside baseball shit. So if musicians are getting out and coding, so the price of musicians goes up, the price of tour buses go, everything prices go up. And guess who ain't paying anymore? The venues, ticket prices don't go up.
No,
I wouldn't do that to my fans, but
of course not.
So it's just, you want to go tour for a third of the money that you used to tour for? Yeah, because I like touring, but that's the business now. I mean, but it's hitting everywhere. I mean, can we get somebody to help us in this fucking figure out this fucking economy that's going on right now?
I don't know.
It's a fucking shit show, huh?
What's the answer? I don't think we have one. It's fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you who ain't the answer is government, because that ain't gonna help us.
You're speaking my goddamn language, dude. You might be one of us, dude.
You keep saying one of us. Who's us? You and
us
your
is
band?
us in the podcast. It's me. Okay. Fucking two
Hold
morons.
on, say podcast again.
Podcast.
Podcast. Okay.
You realize when you come to Philly, this is what everybody sounds like.
Yeah, I may have to cancel that show.
You probably should. Although I don't know what you're fucking talking about, dude. I go to Kentucky and it's like, I always find it funny. True. I find it funny when I go to Nashville and I'll be in studios and I'll say something and people will be like, "Say that again, dude," and I'll be like, "Yo, say something."
I guess you're right. You know what? That's whenever I'll be on the I'll be like in LA or something doing press, and my mom will call and I'll put it on speakerphone just because it's easier to talk on speakerphone, and be like, "Man, your mom talks slow." I'm just like, well, your mom's a fucking whore.
Dude, if I could hit LA with a cruise missile from where I am right now, I would do it. I would let you leave first.
Can you wait? Can you wait till I get back?
That's fine. Yeah, you're cool. But Kenny, one of my partners, is in LA right now. He's actually taking his twins somewhere, so he doesn't have time to do this. But I fucking hate LA. I do. I just don't like them. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know why people like it.
Well, you're preaching to the choir right now.
What's your favorite place, like other than Kentucky? Like, do you have a place you actually enjoy being?
As I've gotten older, I've kind of enjoyed, the water a bit more. So I think parts of Florida are nice, but the old Florida man thing, which is, there's a lot of the old cliche of Florida man. Florida is filled with Florida men. So I don't know about, some of the people are a little wacky, but I guess I'm from Kentucky where everyone's wacky, but I've been enjoying spending a little time in Florida. I've been enjoying, trying to think where else I played. We played last year. That was actually cool. We never moved there, but I thought it was cool. Was that we played a couple gigs, played Aspen and Denver, which were both really cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's good music town though. Like if you get like Red Rocks or something like that, like I feel like people out there actually like music. Like I feel like you go some places and people just show up, but I feel like people out in Denver like music. They might just be high. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be it, but they were definitely like they seemed happy.
Well, dude, if you can do me one favor, if you're gonna do like keep transitioning genres, like if you're feeling the beach, dude, do like some Jimmy Buffett shit. Like do like a legit island record. Like keep. I
don't know that I got that in me, but I will say I do. That was sad about Jimmy Buffett.
It is, man.
I think because of his restaurants and all his whole empire, people kind of don't take him seriously. But he's a hell of a songwriter,
Dude, Jimmy Buffett's the fucking man. I like Jimmy. I'm not gonna like spin Jimmy Buffett records every day, but I respect the man. I respect the hustle.
Yeah, and but his early shit really good. Some really good tunes on there.
Before you get out of here, can you promise me one thing?
I'll promise you anything, Colin.
Will you do a Spotify commentary for the new record, Ram? I know you hate them.
You're the second person who asked me that. What do you like about
I remember listening to the first record, or I think it was the second record actually, and I've never heard anybody seem like they enjoyed doing something less. And
so you like to add it because I didn't want to do it. Maybe I got to get back. But the problem is now
just being like like I remember transitioning from one song to another, and there was like 10 seconds of silence, and it said, "Do you think Adele has to do this shit?" Like I enjoyed that. Like that made me.
I don't remember saying that, but I will. I am going to do a Spotify commentary on this, but I think the reason I stopped doing it was because I don't want to do it was not a bit. I really didn't want to do it.
It wasn't facetious.
So now that I don't have to do it, it's hard to get me to do it. So it's weird to force myself to do something I don't want to do.
Even if you don't do it for Spotify, can you just send me voice memos of you being like, "Here's the next song"?
Yeah, I'm gonna get your number. I'll just send it to you. But I'm gonna, because so many people are asking for them, because I don't think those things get many streams, but I think the people who listen love it. So I want to do it for them.
Well, we appreciate that.
You're the one who's gonna convince me to do it. Because like I said, a few super fans have asked me to do it. And I like being good to the fans because those are the people you got to give a shit about, are the people who, if people know, the thing people don't know about the music industry now is like in the old days, you buy a CD. That was it. That was the sale. Nowadays, you need those people to listen, and listen. The super fans are what pay your bills, because they are the ones who listen.
It must have been so easy when it was just like a transaction, and now people have to actually give a fuck about who you are as a person. It's crazy.
Well, in a weird way, I think it's even the playing field, because if some record label fucking talked you into buying a $17 shitty CD with one good song, it was a trick. And nowadays, if they did the same thing and the rest of the 16 songs that suck and one good song, you don't listen to it and they don't make their money. So I think it's kind of evened it out. It's like you can't put out an album full of filler and you're gonna get caught.
Yeah, the fake shit will be brought to light, because there's enough people out there making music now where it's like, oh well, I'll find someone I actually care about.
Well, it's not so much too, is back to my point of why I think everything's evened out, is like, and I'll use, actually they're not a good example because they're doing well, but like if there's my favorite hip hop group of all time is Run DMC.
Okay.
So as I'm always looking for like, who's the artist that sounds like Run DMC? But with streaming, I'll just fucking listen to Run DMC.
Right.
What do I need a new Run DMC for?
You don't.
So, or like, let's say Greta Van Fleet. This band sounds just like Zeppelin. I'm just going to listen to fucking Zeppelin.
That's my point.
Your competition is the history of music and every song ever made.
That's not intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but it's a motive. I'm saying that I'm trying to look at some positives. It's a motivation to be original.
Dude, I love you. I want you to know that.
Well, I love you too, Chris / Colin. It's been most of my interviews are a fucking pain in my ass. This one hasn't been. I've dug this, man.
I appreciate that. I hope to run into you in Philly.
Hit up my people. We'll get you tickets.
Cool. I'll bring my 1 month old son. I'll teach him something.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I don't know that if I'm gonna approve of that, because I think you're a good dude, and I don't want to ruin your child. But
yeah, if he's not ruined already, you know what I mean.
Who's on your T-shirt? I can't see it.
It's Cash.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wore this to the kid's doctor appointment this morning, dude. I'm out here.
Oh, how's he doing? Was just a regular checkup?
Yeah, he's just chilling, man.
Nothing. There's nothing serious.
Nah, he's big. He's fat. He's doing great.
Fat's good for kids.
God damn, man. This was legit an honor. I appreciate it. Fucking, you're welcome back on whenever you want to come on. I'll be waiting for the Spotify commentary. Even if it doesn't exist, I'll find it. I don't give a fuck.
No, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it for you, Colin.
I appreciate that. Wheeler Walker Jr., this is a fucking dream come true. Appreciate you, brother.
Cool, man. Cool podcast. I dug this.